In case you didn't know, coming tomorrow will be one of the first new events Digital Extreme has done in, let's put it as, some time. Galleon of Ghouls, where vayhek is going to request the help of the Tenno to hunt down and capture the big guy running away from Rhino here in the image, hence the reason the image is on the screen. It's a capture mission where you will have what they referred to as a volatile ogress, which is in Rhino's hands in the image. But there's some drawbacks. That is the only weapon you will have. Abilities will not work, and this leads us to a lot of questions. What's going to be one of the best loadouts to actually run for this? And how many people just close this because I use the word loadout? Whether we can mod this or not is unknown at the moment, but it's not like it has a lot of damage. It mainly is a status-based weapon, but it's the... where actually is it? The 7.1 meters range that is going to be important, because this thing, I'm hoping we can put a skin on, because that just looks so much more menacing than
reminds the operator to take time for themselves.
Or the Kuva version, which is obviously slightly better, even though it has, this is a thing that exists. But they said the only thing we'll take with us is the volatile ogress that will be dealing self knockback. That they may in the future actually make it kill allies, turning on friendly fire. I'm torn on that one. It could be good, it could be really bad. So your melee doesn't matter. Your secondary doesn't matter. Your primary doesn't matter. Your Warframe doesn't matter. With abilities ruled out, choosing a frame comes down to a handful of simple choices. Who do you prefer to see on your screen than other things? Similarly down to choosing the frame comes down to nothing more than personal preference, depending on whether we can actually run the mods that are installed on them or whether we're going to be running with their base stats, because you're going to want as much armor, health and shields as is humanly possible to actually have. So 370 armor. I keep scrolling in the middle of the screen. Definitely better than 160. 315 is better than that. That's all I'm going to say. Banshee, 135. That's not going to be much good. There is quite a lot of frames that... Just make sure it's a frame that has at least a 1 sprint speed and lots of health, shields and armor. I would say the tanky frames, but let's be honest, not all frames were built equal, and some received buffs to their sprint. Rhino Prime would be better. Nice health, nice shields, lots of armor. Saren, as much as they still say she is a tank, was also technically buffed because went from 0.95 to a 1 sprint speed. And Frost Prime never received his sprint speed increase for his Prime variant, so he's actually pretty slow. Yes, I will probably be using Frost, hence the reason I'm mentioning that, but choosing which frame you want to run is going to be purely cosmetic. But do try and get one that will have a little bit more armor and health and shields, just so you don't end up getting completely annihilated by your own ogress. But that being said, the main reason I wanted to do this is there are certain frames out there that happen to have this lovely ability that is built into them that they cannot get rid of in any way, shape or form if they make it so the mods we have installed don't work, and it just goes by base stats. That's going to be a bit sucky, because if they're not, you just mod health, shields and sprint speed as much as possible in there, so you can still run around fairly fast to have a look around, but also will have a bit of survivability to it. Otherwise, probably one of the better frames to use for this is going to be one who has a passive where they're immune to knockdown while on the ground. In case you didn't know who I'm referring to here, he's been on the screen the whole time because Atlas has a passive that becomes immune to knockdown while on the ground. So as long as you are standing with, I'm going to say, a foot on the ground, Atlas Prime cannot be knocked over so will be one of the better frames to actually use for this event, simply down to the fact cannot be knocked down. If they allow mods, however, well, that is where we start to have a bit of a change in everything. Why did I put 3 Umbral format on Frost Prime? Oh, it's Umbral Frost. Is that who I've been using this one? Oh, okay, I thought I was using the other one. Never mind. Either way, if they allow us to run mods, then obviously run speed, going to be very useful, as is health and shields. That's useless. That's fine. That's going to be useful. That's completely useless. That's completely useless. Sprint speed. Oh yeah, and sure-footed will be one of the mods you want to be running, simply down to the fact that it has a chance to resist knockdown. 60% chance to resist knockdown. If you are one of the people who have logged in for way too many times in Warframe and have had the opportunity to pick it up, that's gonna be one of the ones you definitely want to be running. 100% chance to resist knockdown. That will turn any frame into Atlas. So if we're allowed to run mods, going to have to run Prime Sure-Footed if you have it. If not, pretty sure Order sells it. But if you put that in there, you will no longer be able to knock yourself over while using the Ogress that deals self-knockback, because self-knockback will be nullified by that mod. But however you want to run it, obviously this will be starting on May 2nd at 11 AM ET until Monday, May the 5th at 11 AM ET for the first weekend that will bring, I believe they said it would be the Tack and Lug, the Sword and Shield. It's a new melee weapon. With the second week, May 9th until May 12th, 11 AM ET for both, that will bring the Tonkat, obviously, Tonfaz, and the third weekend that will bring both. So if you miss the first weekend or the second weekend, you will still have a chance on May 16th until May 19th to be able to get a hold of either one of these. These missions look like they're going to be quite a lot of fun, depending upon how you want to roll, simply down to the fact of we are yet to know, will the Ogress be moddable? And the lack of abilities is going to make this a lot of fun. But with that, we'll leave this off here. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.